Hello, professional drivers. Safety on the road starts long before you turn the key. It begins with a commitment to excellence and a thorough understanding of your vehicle's complex systems. In this comprehensive guide, we will explore the vital checks, driving techniques, and emergency procedures required for commercial vehicle operation. From the intricacies of air brake systems to the nuances of cargo securement, every detail matters. By the end of this session, you'll have a clear roadmap for navigating the challenges of the highway with confidence and precision. Let's start by looking at why every stop you make is a prime opportunity for safety. Remember, your vigilance is the best tool for preventing accidents. Whenever you stop your vehicle for any reason, whether it is for resting, refueling, or a quick meal, you must check your vital areas. This en-route inspection is your second line of defense against mechanical failure. You should specifically examine critical items like your tires, brakes, and cargo tie-downs. Don't just glance at them. Perform a focused evaluation. Tires can lose pressure or overheat, and brakes can develop issues after heavy use. Cargo can shift during transit, making it essential to ensure all tie-downs are still tightly secured. These few minutes spent during a break can prevent a major breakdown or a dangerous accident later in your journey. Stay proactive and stay safe. A thorough walk-around during your stop involves more than just a quick look. You need to check the airlines, ensuring the red and blue lines are connected properly and free of leaks. Use a tire pressure gauge to check for overheating, wear, and low pressure. Don't forget to inspect the wheel nuts. Rust streaks might indicate they are loose. As you walk around the entire vehicle, stay alert for signs of heat. If a tire is too hot to touch, it might be about to fail. Also, double-check that your cargo tie-downs are still firmly in place. These detailed checks ensure that your vehicle remains in top condition for the remainder of your trip. Visibility is your best friend on the road, and high beams are a vital tool for seeing ahead. You should use your high beams whenever it is safe and legal to do so. This includes all kinds of roads with low visibility, such as interstates, urban roads, country roads, and rural areas. However, you must be considerate and safe. Always dim your high beams when you are within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle or within 300 feet of a vehicle you are following. Keeping your high beams on in these situations can blind other drivers, creating a hazard. Using your lights correctly ensures you can see far enough ahead to react to any dangers. The air brake system is the heart of your truck's stopping power, and it includes safety features like the relief valve. This valve is typically located on the first air tank that the compressor pumps into. Its primary purpose is to protect the tank and the entire system from excessive pressure. If the air pressure rises above 150 psi, the safety relief valve is designed to open automatically. This prevents damage to the lines and tanks. If you ever hear this valve blowing off, it's a sign that your pressure regulator may be failing. Understanding how these components work allows you to monitor your vehicle's health and ensure your brakes are always ready. Properly using your vehicle's lights and flashers is essential for communicating with other drivers. For instance, you should turn on your headlights during the day if visibility is reduced by rain or snow. This makes it easier for others to see you. Additionally, use your brake lights to warn drivers behind you. If you see a hazard ahead that requires you to slow down, a few quick taps on the brake pedal can alert the vehicle behind you. The same applies if you are planning to stop on the road. By using your lights effectively, you create a safer environment for everyone by making your intentions and the road conditions clear. Understanding your vehicle's mechanics is key to safe operation, especially when it comes to the steering and suspension. For example, the gearbox is a critical part of your steering system. Many other components you see near the wheels, like springs and shocks, are actually part of the suspension. Furthermore, knowing how to start moving without rolling backward is a vital skill. If you have a manual transmission, you should engage the clutch before removing your foot from the brake. Alternatively, you can use the trailer brake hand valve or the tractor parking brake to hold the vehicle until the engine starts pulling. These techniques prevent dangerous rollbacks in traffic or on inclines. Driving a commercial vehicle requires specific skills that go beyond basic driving. You must be an expert in accelerating, steering, stopping, and backing safely. Interestingly, things like first aid certification are not considered one of the 4 basic driving skills, although they are useful. Another critical concept is reaction distance. This is the distance your vehicle travels in the time it takes you to react to a hazard. For an average driver, this takes about 3/4 of a second to a full second. At 55 miles per hour, your vehicle will travel approximately 61 feet before you even hit the brakes. Understanding these distances helps you maintain a safe buffer from other vehicles. Skidding is one of the most dangerous situations a driver can face, and the most common cause is driving too fast for road conditions. When you exceed the limit of traction, you lose control of your vehicle's direction. To stay safe, you must also look far enough ahead. At highway speeds, you should be looking about 1/4 of a mile ahead, which is roughly 12 to 15 seconds. At lower speeds in the city, this amounts to about 1 block. Looking ahead allows you to spot hazards early and make gradual adjustments rather than sudden, risky moves. Speed management and environmental awareness are the foundations of defensive driving. If you ever need to park on the side of a level, straight, 2-lane road, you must set out reflective triangles to warn other drivers. Place one within 10 feet of the rear of your vehicle. Place a second one about 10 feet behind your vehicle, and a third one about 0 feet in front of your vehicle. This arrangement is for an undivided highway where traffic flows in both directions. If you are on a divided highway or a one-way road, the placement changes. In those cases, all triangles go behind the vehicle at 10, 10, 0, and 200 feet. Properly marking your position can prevent a rear-end collision in low-visibility situations. Maintaining your commercial driver's license requires following strict rules regarding alcohol. If you are convicted of driving under the influence while operating a commercial vehicle for the first time, you will likely face at least a 1-year suspension of your CDL. This applies if your blood alcohol concentration is 0.04% or higher, which is half the limit for passenger vehicles. Furthermore, operating a CMV means you have given implied consent to alcohol testing. If you refuse a test, the consequences are the same as a conviction. The safest policy is to never drink and drive. Alcohol affects your judgment and self-control long before you feel legally intoxicated. When it comes to cargo, safety devices like front-end header boards are crucial. These boards serve two main purposes. They block the forward movement of your cargo during a sudden stop, and they protect you, the driver, in case of a collision. Without a sturdy header board, heavy cargo could slide forward and crush the cab. Additionally, understanding your stopping distance is vital. With air brakes, this distance is made up of 4 parts: perception distance, reaction distance, brake lag distance, and effective braking distance. Brake lag is unique to air brakes. It's the time it takes for the air to flow through the lines and engage the brakes once the pedal is pressed. Environmental factors like strong winds can pose a significant challenge to heavy vehicles. Winds are especially problematic when you are coming out of tunnels or driving across open bridges. In these situations, a sudden gust can push your vehicle out of its lane. Another important rule is about entering traffic. Heavy vehicles need much larger gaps in traffic than passenger cars because they accelerate much slower. If a vehicle stays in your blind spot, the best action is to back off. By slowing down just a few miles per hour, you allow that vehicle to pass, clearing your blind spot and making it safe for you to change lanes if needed. Maintaining space in front of your vehicle is one of your best defenses. A good rule of thumb is to allow at least 1 second for every 10 feet of vehicle length when driving under 40 miles per hour. If you are driving faster than 40, you must add an extra second for safety. For example, if you are driving a 40-foot vehicle at 45 miles per hour, you should maintain at least 5 seconds of space. This extra time allows you to react to hazards without having to slam on the brakes. Remember, heavy vehicles can almost always turn to avoid an obstacle more quickly than they can come to a full stop. Weight distribution is just as important as the total weight of your load. Axle weight refers to the weight transmitted to the ground by a single axle or a set of axles. Underloading the front axle can lead to poor traction and make the steering axle too light to steer safely. Conversely, overloading can damage the tires and the axle itself. You should also be aware of the markings on other vehicles. A red triangle with an orange center signifies a slow-moving vehicle. If you see this, Be prepared to slow down immediately. Staying alert to these visual cues helps you manage your speed and avoid dangerous rear-end collisions. Every driver must keep a logbook to track their hours of service. The purpose of this grid log is to ensure you are getting enough sleep as required by law. If an officer requests it, you must show your logbook immediately. Falsifying or failing to keep these records can result in heavy fines and being placed out of service. On the road, you might encounter hazardous conditions like hydroplaning, where your tires lose contact with the road surface due to water. If this happens, do not slam on the brakes. Instead, release the accelerator and push in the clutch to allow the wheels to spin freely and regain contact with the ground. When driving down long, steep hills, your brakes can get incredibly hot. If they get too hot, they may fail entirely. In such an emergency, you should immediately look for an escape ramp or an alternate escape route. These ramps are designed to stop runaway vehicles, safely using soft gravel or uphill grades. Always know where the escape ramps are located on your route. Additionally, be extra cautious with unstable loads like hanging meat or livestock. These loads can shift unexpectedly during turns, affecting your vehicle's center of gravity. Extra care on curves and mountain grades is essential for keeping your heavy vehicle under control and preventing rollovers. Transporting hazardous materials is a serious responsibility. If you do not have a hazardous materials endorsement on your CDL, you can only haul these materials if the amount does not require placards. If placards are required, you must refuse the load until you have the proper endorsement. Another key safety rule is to stop driving the moment you feel sleepy. The only cure for fatigue is sleep. If you're on a long haul and start to feel drowsy, find a safe place to park and take a nap. Trying to push through exhaustion is one of the leading causes of fatal accidents in the commercial driving industry. Tank vehicles require special knowledge because the amount of liquid you can load depends on several factors. These include the weight of the liquid, the legal weight limits, and how much the liquid will expand during transit. Liquid surge can also make these vehicles difficult to handle. Covering your cargo is another safety requirement. Cargo covers protect the load from the weather and, more importantly, prevent cargo from spilling onto the road. This protects other vehicles and pedestrians from debris. Many states have specific laws regarding cargo covers, so be sure you are familiar with the regulations in every area you drive through. A standard vehicle inspection routine involves 3 phases: pre-trip, en route, and post-trip. You must inspect your cargo before you start, again within the first 50 miles, and then every 3 hours or 150 miles thereafter. You should also check it after every break you take. Another tip is to limit the use of your horn. While it can be a safety tool, it can also startle other drivers and cause them to make a mistake. Only use it when truly necessary. Additionally, be aware of what can cause a vehicle fire, such as underinflated tires, loose fuel connections, or electrical short circuits. Preventing these issues starts with a good pre-trip inspection. During your pre-trip inspection, pay close attention to the brakes and suspension. Brake shoes should not be worn dangerously thin, and pads should never have oil or brake fluid on them. Even one missing leaf in a leaf spring can be dangerous and should be reported. If you're on the road and an oncoming driver drifts into your lane, the best action is usually to steer to the right. This avoids a head-on collision and moves you toward the shoulder rather than into opposing traffic. Also, remember that a fully loaded truck at 55 miles per hour takes more than the length of a football field to stop. Hot weather brings unique challenges, such as bleeding tar. When the temperature rises, tar in the road pavement can rise to the surface, making the road extremely slippery. In snow and ice, you must reduce your speed significantly. On packed snow, cut your speed by at least half. On ice, slow to a crawl. Cargo tie-downs are also regulated by length. You need at least 1 tie-down for every 10 feet of cargo, with a minimum of 2 for any load. Finally, be aware that bridges and shaded areas freeze first when the temperature reaches freezing. Signs of slippery roads include a wet-looking surface, which might actually be black ice. Proper wheel maintenance is non-negotiable for safety. You should regularly inspect wheel bearing seals for leaks, as these seals keep vital grease from leaking onto the brake drums. Before transporting any load, even a sealed one, ensure you are not exceeding gross or axle weight limits. When driving at night, use your high beams as much as possible, as long as it is safe and legal. Many drivers use low beams too often, which drastically reduces their sight distance. However, never remove a radiator cap while the system is hot. The pressurized steam can cause severe burns. Always wait for the engine to cool down before checking the coolant levels. Your vehicle must be equipped with an emergency kit containing fire extinguishers, spare fuses, and warning devices like reflective triangles. In a traffic emergency, you might need to use counter steering. This is the act of turning the wheel in the opposite direction after an initial turn to avoid an obstacle. If you experience a tire blowout, the first rule is to stay off the brakes. Let the vehicle slow down naturally until it's safe to apply gentle pressure and pull over. Another useful concept is the IPDE method. Identify, predict, decide, and execute. This step-by-step process is the core of defensive driving and helps you manage risks before they become emergencies. Mirrors are essential, but remember they have blind spots. Convex curved mirrors are great because they show a wider area than flat mirrors, but they also make objects look smaller and further away than they actually are. Use your mirrors to monitor traffic, check your cargo, and see where the rear of your vehicle is during turns. When it comes to cargo, containerized loads are often used for freight that travels partway by rail or ship. These must still be properly secured. If you are being tailgated, don't speed up. Instead, increase the space in front of you. This makes it easier for the tailgater to pass you safely. When you must leave the road in an emergency, avoid braking until your speed has dropped to about 20 miles per hour. This prevents skidding on the shoulder. When you do return to the pavement, ensure you have plenty of room and steer back gently. Cargo tie-downs should be strong enough to lift 1.5 times the weight of the cargo they are securing. Driving through heavy rain can also lead to wet brakes, which may cause wheel lockup or a trailer jackknife. To dry them out, shift to a low gear and apply gentle pressure while driving. This generates heat and restores your stopping power. Downshifting is a vital skill for managing speed on long, steep downhill grades. It allows engine compression and friction to help the brakes slow the vehicle. You should be in the proper gear before you start down the hill. Trying to downshift once you've already picked up too much speed is dangerous and may be impossible with some transmissions. To correct a rear wheel acceleration skid, simply stop accelerating. This allows the wheels to regain traction. If you're fighting a fire with an extinguisher, always aim at the base of the fire, not the flames. Staying as far away as possible while still being effective is the safest way to extinguish a fire. Testing your brakes is a part of every pre-trip routine. You should test the stopping action of your service brakes while the vehicle is moving at about 5 miles per hour. If the vehicle pulls to one side or the pedal feels soft, it indicates a problem that needs fixing. When turning, remember to signal early and continuously. You need both hands on the wheel to complete a turn safely. Seatbelts should be worn at all times when the vehicle is in motion. They are your primary protection in the event of a crash. Finally, understand that alcohol first affects your judgment and self-control, which are the very things you need most for safe driving. Brake fade is a dangerous condition caused by brakes becoming too hot. When this happens, they lose their stopping power. To prevent this, always use the proper gear on downgrades and use the snubbing method of braking. Apply the brakes for 3 seconds to drop your speed 5 mph below your safe speed, then release. The biggest danger with a broken exhaust system is the risk of poisonous fumes entering the cab. Never ignore an exhaust leak. Also, ensure your steering tires have a minimum of 4/32 inch of tread depth. This provides the traction needed for safe steering in all weather conditions. Proper maintenance prevents these common but deadly issues. As we conclude, remember that the best drivers are defensive drivers. This means always preparing for hazards and planning your escape before an emergency occurs. Federal and state regulations are there to protect you, but your own vigilance is what matters most on the road. Whether it is managing your sleep debt, checking your wheel-bearing seals, or ensuring your cargo is perfectly balanced, every action counts. Take pride in your profession and your commitment to safety. By following the rules and staying alert, you ensure that you and everyone else on the road reach their destinations safely. Thank you for your dedication to safe commercial driving. Drive safely out there.